Hey guys, this is Jacob from the Bard Life YouTube channel. Today I am going to teach you how to take the bottom bracket apart on a road bike. This is a three-piece bottom bracket, which means there's the one crank, there's the crank, and then in the middle here there is a spindle and the bearings, and then on this other side here there's another crank arm. Here I have, there we go. Let's take a look at this one. This is a Sugino Maxi, Super Maxi. Let me see if I have a spindle here. So what happened, what it is there is your crank, then there's the spindle in the middle with bearings on the bearing race here. See, that's the bearing race where the bearings are, and they travel on that race there. So what that's in the middle, that's the part that's moving. The crank moves the spindle. So most bikes have a three-piece crank of some sort. That was a squared tapered. I do have, this is called a collared crank. It's the same basic, hold on, those are rim tapes. I'll do a video about those later. So what this is a collared crank. A collared crank is steel. Most most square tapered cranks are aluminum. Okay. What it is the spindle is round. The whole thing is round. There's no square. The end isn't squared. And then there's a cotter pin going through that hole there that holds the crank in place on the spindle. I do not think I have any cotter pins, but if I do, I will show you when those are bearings. I do not have any cotter pins to show you guys. Yeah, but here, I'll show you bike with a cottered crank. Here's the crank arm, the spindle here, and the cotter pin goes through the crank arm and holds the crank arm on the spindle. So I am going to show you today how to take apart a three-piece square tapered crank. This one is steel, but it is the only one I have to show you to take apart. I will now show you the tools that are required to take apart the crank. You will need a slotted screwdriver, a 14mm socket and ratchet to take the bolt off of the crank arm or the spindle. You will need a crank extractor, which looks like that, which pushes the crank arm off the spindle. You will need a 16mm wrench, a Allen wrench, some pliers, and a 12-inch crescent wrench. You may also need some PB blaster penetrating fluid. So let me go ahead and put the camera on the tripod and let's get started. Alright. Okay, so we are going to start by taking the slotted screwdriver and removing these caps here. We will want to take them off on both sides of the bicycle. Okay, so now that the caps are off, we can set them over in our box where we put the parts. And then we are going to want to take the ratchet and 14mm socket and put it on that bolt right there. And we are going to take the bolt out and set it over in our magnetic tray so you don't lose the bolt. We are going to take the bolt out on both sides. It can be tricky sometimes. And if you do not have enough leverage on the ratchet, what you can do is you can take, hold on, a long piece of pipe, and you put the ratchet in the pipe, and you have more leverage because you have made the handle longer. But those came off just fine. So we can go put our ratchet away, and we can now take our crank extractor and we screw that in here. Just like that. Put our 16mm wrench on the crank extractor there. Tighten it up a little bit, like that. And take our Allen wrench and we put it right there. And we turn it like this. And your crank arm will come right off. Just like that. So now you will want to hold the crank arm like this and take the crank extractor out of the crank arm and go place your crank arm in the box with your caps. So now you want to unscrew this so this part, the silver part here, is flush with the top. And then you are going to want to screw it onto the inside, onto the other side of the crank. And I might want to just pick up my Allen wrench so I can get the other side of the crank off. So then I am going to go and I am going to, stupid planes, I am going to make sure that the crank extractor is nice and tight, and I am going to go ahead and remove the other side of the crank, just like this. Oh my god. That one's being stubborn. Alright. Okay, let's see here. There we go. On a lot of these older bikes, it is a lot. The parts get rusted in place, or they just get stuck because the previous owner never maintained the bicycle. So we can go ahead and set the other crank arm there and put away our tools so you can use them again. I'm going to go ahead and flip the bike around on the bike stand so we can take the rest of this part a lot easier. Alright. Alright, my camera just decided to stop recording. So, I guess I will be editing this video. Okay. So, I am now flipping the bicycle around on the bike stand. So, it is a lot easier to work to get this crank apart. The reason you will ever want to take the crank apart, or any part of your bicycle apart, is in case if you need to grease anything. So we're going to want to take the pliers. If you can see here, there are two little notches, right? And there are notches all around this ring here. So we're going to take the pliers, put the notch in there, clamp it down tight, and then it should just come apart. Oh wow, it looks like we won't end up needing the 12-inch crescent wrench. Okay, so what you would want to do with the 12-inch crescent wrench is, if this ring came off without the cup inside of it, you would take the crescent wrench and put it on here, this part of the cup, and you would twist it so the cup would come out of the ring, just like this. See, I'm not using the crescent wrench, but we want to take this apart just like that. The bearings, there are different types of bearings. There are caged bearings like this, see, like that, or there are loose bearings. Loose bearings look like this. They're loose, see? And then there are needle bearings, and there are just a ton of different types of bearings. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the spindle out from this side, like that, and we have the spindle right here. Alright? And then what we want to do is we want to take a finger and take the bearing out from the other side, just like that. Alright, and the crank is now disassembled, and you can grease the bearings, you can do pretty much anything you need to do with the crank, and you're good. Alright, so in the next video I'm probably going to teach you guys how to take the headset apart. This is the headset here. So I'm going to teach you guys how to take the headset apart. I will also teach you guys how to change tires and inner tubes. How to take a freewheel off. The gears here, this is called a freewheel. More modern bikes have something called a cassette, but that's completely different. You guys don't really need to know about that yet. So yeah, thanks for watching. See you guys in the next video. Bye.